This, the graduation ceremony for the class of 2014. There have been many changes to all of the tutor groups over the years. Students have left to go to other schools and other countries, and other tutor groups within St Andrews. Through all of these changes, there are some things that have remained the same. Friendships that have stretched across the years and across continents, and look set to continue to do so for many more years to come. However, the most profound and shocking change happened last year when we lost a member of our tutor group, when Ali Hunter passed away. Proud wrote these words in her yearbook statement. St Andrews is the place where I met my first friend. I still share classes with her to this very day. Whether it's been 10 years or 2, the relationships that my year group built together has accumulated into this surprisingly loving and functional family that I honestly think will continue supporting each other past the difficulties of IB. I love and cherish each member of the senior year. I would like to end this piece of writing with a special recognition to Ali Hunter, a dear friend and a brave soul who has left this world too soon. She is a part of us and will always remain as one of the class of 2014's graduates. It's a terrible shame that Ali is not here tonight to share in the happiness of this event, and we wish her parents the continued strength to deal with their loss. Ab joined us at the beginning of year 12. He's always been a polite, well-mannered young man, and all of his teachers have been impressed by his good manners, his humour and positivity. Joining a tutor group at this stage with other students who have known each other for years is never easy, but Ab fitted in from the beginning, and judging by the many photographs of him with the other members of the group on social occasions, residentials and around school, he truly has been absorbed into the tutor group. I asked all the students to reflect on some of the events that stand out in their time at St Andrews. Ab wrote and told me about what he was most proud of. Participating in Habitat for Humanity, where not only as a class we managed to raise a large amount of money, we also managed to build 3 houses that actually turned out good. Participating in Rainbow House and helping the kids out was also a proud moment. Getting to move up to a higher maths class was an achievement. Finishing my extended essay was a huge achievement. I never wrote anything that long or spent as long on any piece of work before. Mr. Gary, the maths teacher, says of that, following successful year 12 results, Ab moved up into my maths group. He continued to work hard during year 13 to overcome the challenges of the course. The biggest compliment I can pay Ab is to say that he is always cheerful, from his first lesson with me to the last. He never came to my classroom without a smile and never left before making me laugh. After graduation, Ab plans to relax and go on vacation with his friends and family. Alex joined us midway through year 9. From the beginning, she has always fascinated the class with glamorous stories from another world. Fashion shows, magazine shoots, television auditions. It was like having our own Paris Hilton in the tutor group, or listening to an episode of Beverly Hills 90210. Nonetheless, Alex seems remarkably unfazed by this alternative reality. She has stuck to her studies, listened to the recommendations her teachers have made, and followed them. Alex has always been very focused and sure about her path in life. She writes, "After graduation, my plan is to work by doing modelling in different countries in Asia, such as Hong Kong, the Philippines, or Singapore. This will help me to become more independent, as I will be alone and I can explore different cultures." She's planning on studying at either the London College of Fashion or Istituto Marangoni, which is also in London. Alex told me, "I have never had an embarrassing moment, because I was never embarrassed by anything I did. Everyone in SBA is like family, so I was never shy to do anything. My proudest moment was being on the football team from year 9 to year 12. I was able to travel and compete with other schools in a sport that I really enjoyed." Mr. John says of Alex, "Coco Chanel once said, 'Dress shabbily and they remember the dress. Dress impeccably and they remember the woman.' There are very few students who probably have taken this to heart, but Alex is one of them. Even when trekking through the jungles of northern Thailand, she managed to remain immaculate, with a never-ending supply of wet wipes, mosquito repellent, lip balm and dry socks. Whilst others would fall over, get stung by hornets, get hot and sweaty, and generally end up looking like they'd been dragged through a hedge backwards, Alex remained aloof and spotless. But that may have been due to the fact she spent vast amounts of time in the showers and had a suitcase that a small car could fit into. Despite this, she is a risk taker and would love to get stuck into whatever was presented to her, seeing it as a challenge and an opportunity to take a risk and improve herself. As Coco said, dress impeccably and we will remember you more. We will certainly remember Miss Alex Fish for all the right reasons. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Emma joined us in Year 8, and after an initially rocky start with a very scary and evil form tutor, she quickly settled in and has been part of the sort of friendship group I can see existing for many, many years to come. Over this time, Emma has grown in confidence and will unashamedly poke fun at herself, as you will see from some of the photos behind me. She is an immensely warm and positive young lady, and though still undecided on the path she will take in life, I'm sure whatever she chooses to do will be filled full of good friends and happiness. Emma's favourite moment at St Andrews. For this year in Year 10, I met amazing people and made memories to last. Also, spending lunch and break times with Yuki, Sasa and Al. Emma's most embarrassing moment at St Andrews. Getting screamed at for not opening a booth on my first day of school. Who would do that? Who would do that to a lovely icon? Not me. No, not me. What Emma is most proud about achieving at St Andrews? Taking part in the swim team, where I achieved timebreakers, shared moments and memories overseas. Miss Jo says of Emma and Nacho, fairly often I'd walk into the dance studio at the start of a theatre lesson to find Emma dressed up in some completely over-the-top, ridiculous outfit from the costume boxes. The most recent being one of the huge silver wedding dresses topped off with a plastic silver crown, with Nacho taking photos of her. I wish I could see that photo. Emma would always be shocked when Nacho said she was going to upload it into the social media world. She never did learn. I'll definitely miss that slightly obscure comedy duo. After graduation, Emma is heading to Europe for a couple of weeks to see an ex-St Andrews classmate, David, and then heading to Australia, where she'll work and enroll herself into a course until she knows what she wants to do in the future. Malika started St Andrews in Year 5. She's another long-termer in the young shooter group, having been with us from the beginning in Year 7. She did disappear in Year 11 for what seemed to be like a year-long holiday to New York, where she did some studying and hung around coffee shops a lot. I could never get a definite answer about what she did over there. Malika has always been fearless. When we were studying the growing up topic in Year 7, which is the sexual reproduction topic, she seemed to take great delight in asking all the most awkward and embarrassing questions that no one else would dare to. She was completely unfazed by any of the answers. They would merely act as a catalyst for further rounds of questions. Nothing could shock her. Unfortunately, this year I haven't really seen much of Malika's boundless enthusiasm and positivity, as she never seemed to make it to morning registration. According to Malika, it was her mother's fault entirely. Mr. Gary says of Malika, Malika is best known for deserting us in Year 11, and thus preventing us from gaining an even higher percentage than our 71% A-to-A score. We felt cheated as a class, but were really pleased when she came back to tell us how backward she had found many of her classmates in the US. We thought that was punishment enough. Beyond that, Malika was probably the liveliest, most positive individual in the class. If she doesn't do well in an essay, she wants to know straight away how to put it right, and doesn't dwell on the negative. She can, of course, be irritating, and her incessant determination to write about the Bible is something I will happily forget about. On a related note, her constant energy is most definitely fueled by the snapshot, which she seems to loiter around all the time. Malika tells me after graduation she plans to go to the University of East Anglia to study history, politics, and to travel Europe, go back to America, and eventually rule the world. Natcha. She also started in Andrews in year 5, I've got here, but am I incorrect in that? Year 6?
5.
Year 5. And has been part of the tutor group since year 7. She's been an exceptionally hard-working student for about 95% of the time. For the other 4%, she's been very, very good, and the remaining 1% is when she kind of flumps down, exhausted for a bit, before picking herself up and carrying on. What is special about Natcha is that she is so talented at so many different things, and truly seems to embody the Ivy spirit of breadth within the curriculum. She refuses to be pigeonholed and to be only good at the arts or humanities or science, but seems to excel at everything. As the only female student in the physics group, she would have to put up with a lot of banter from the other male members of the group, who, to put it politely, still have a lot to learn when it comes to discussing gender equality issues. Natcha held her own magnificently, and it was always gratifying to hear one of the boys back down with, "I was only joking." I would like to think that the passion she has for the things she believes are right, and the courage to speak out against those things she believes are wrong, will stay with her forever. Natcha writes, "My most memorable moment at SDA was probably our CAS residential with Habitat for Humanity, with us building houses, also because it was our last residential. Or maybe it was that time our physics class brought you, that's me, a birthday cake, and you were so happy you didn't make anyone stay after school, since that was still there. I must admit I was very touched." Mr. Gary says of Natcha, "Natcha has always been the most consistent. I use this word not in the sense that she produces work of a consistent nature, but that she consistently amazes me with the lucidity of her thought, her ability to latch onto arguments and to conjure them up where none exist is a real art form. When I consider her development from year 7, when she was at pains to write the least amount of words necessary to fulfill a task, to the person she has become, it's incredible. She is no longer the minimalist that I would castigate her as in front of her parents to try and get more work out of her. She has realised, perhaps, that everything she has to say is of genuine value and that the world is enriched for her decision to share. She is also the only student I have taught here that seems to have any idea who Stephen Fry is. After graduation, Natcha is going on a graduation trip with other members of Year 13. She'll probably spend all summer catching up on TV series and books, and then go to the University of Kent to study history and drama. Prem is another newbie to the tutor group. He's only been with us for 2 years. Nonetheless, in those 2 years, he has made the most of his time at St Andrews by learning classical guitar, and leading Bhangra dancing, and getting stuck into the Habitat for Humanity house building project. Prem has settled in enormously well, and he genuinely seems to have enjoyed his time and the opportunities and challenges that the idea presented him. He has been noted time after time for his good manners, and many of his teachers have told me how touched they were by the messages he sent them, thanking them for their efforts during his IB studies. Prem writes, "The most exciting moment for me at St Andrews would be the opportunity I was given to go to Spain with my friends. It was the most memorable trip ever. The things I am proud of achieving at St Andrews, firstly, would be that I have more self-confidence because I am not afraid of meeting new people anymore. I'm not afraid of having to conduct a presentation in front of the whole class. Secondly, I felt great when I got the opportunity to be part of the school football team. Football is my passion, something I love. Third would be the opportunity that Kaz offered me to take up guitar lessons. I always wanted to know how to play a musical instrument. Lastly, it might be the fact that I was able to do 90% of the work on time and submit it. Hence I've been able to manage my time wisely. This will help me in university when having to submit work with no deadline extensions." Miss Agnes says of Prem, "All the students I took to Spain were fantastic. On the day we flew, they were of course super excited and joked and pictured situations and joked again. At some point I couldn't resist and told them with a serious face, but secretly laughing, that Their Spanish families did not understand a word of English, and they had to communicate with them in and only in Spanish. Prem's jaw dropped immediately, and his face changed colour. I was worried he was in shock. On the way from the airport to the families, and throughout the whole trip, Prem was a very professional paparazzo and was nicknamed Prem and his 3 eyes. Prem was always smiling, joking and talking, and I think the Spanish girls sometimes called his eye. He was a real gentleman throughout the whole trip. Oh, and he loved flamenco and the flamenco wrestling too. Prem tells me that immediately after graduation, he will be going with friends and family to celebrate the end of IB and will be attending family weddings. He will be keeping himself busy with going to the gym and trying to find a part-time job before probably studying business management at Mahadum University. Proud. Proud is the final long-term inmate of the young shooting group and has spent most time at St Andrews, 15 years in total since she was 3 years of age. She was one of the first students in school audit when it opened. She's an immensely talented violinist, or fiddle player as Mr Gary likes to describe it, and has used her hard-earned skills and talent to make the most of opportunities presented to her to play and learn with world-class musicians. Proud is another student who refuses to be boxed in and spreads her talents across a diverse range of subjects. Music, obviously, drama, especially if you see any opportunity to portray insane people or ghosts. Sport, and most recently science, where she has discovered a love for biology fostered by Mr John and most recently Mr Rich. In fact, Proud hopes to study biomedical science at university. As with all the students, I asked Proud to write down some of her most special moments at St Andrews. Forgive me, Proud, I had to edit this quite a lot because there was so much. The things you're most proud about achieving at St Andrews. Violin. I cried and cried before I first performed in assembly in year 1. After year 3, it had become such a regular thing. I had probably performed at school at least 100 times. Because of this, I was also able to perform more regularly outside of school, lead an orchestra, compete, join music camps around Asia, and perform for world-class violinists. All thanks to this school, where I first showcased my love for classical music that my father has nurtured with me for as long as I can remember. Swimming. Never lost the backstroke at TSAT competitions, all golds, swim team captain, but for this year trip to Vietnam was a blast. We won loads of trophies. Track. The only other thing I could do besides swimming was run long distances. I got third against other girls in Southeast Asia for the 1500 metres this year on my first try. World Scholars Cup in Shanghai and Kuala Lumpur. Best trips I ever had. I had to debate, write essays, do quizzes in a team with my best friends. Truly rewarding, memorable, and beneficial too. Growing as a person. I'm a product of this school, and it has taught me so much in knowledge and experience. Completing the IB program is one of the proudest things I've done so far. Its wide breadth has cultivated my interest so well that without it, I would be pursuing a different road right now. I would have definitely regretted it later. So thanks IB, but no thanks, because you have drained my soul. Mr Gary says it Proud. Proud has the ability on occasions to look as if she is not really with it. She would have you believe that she is tired or possibly ill, or indeed both. I have come to the conclusion that it is all a cunning ruse to gain sympathy. I believe she first tried the trick with Jamie, and we all know the result. That it is a trick is borne out by the way she picks up in class as soon as her opinion is called upon. The way in which she has managed to combine her studies with the demands of her fiddle playing really has been exceptional. What are your plans after graduation? Food, lots of food and sleep. Travel, relax, read all the books I've bought over the 2 years of IB that I could not find time to admire, learn how to drive and to cook, learn how to survive without my little brother, find work, prepare myself for university. Finally, and by no means least, we have Radhika. Radhika joined us at the start of year 12, along with Adam and Prem. Again, she has thrown herself into the life of the school and made the most of her opportunities with the IB. She's taken part in boot camp to develop her fitness, spent lots of time developing different money-raising and awareness-raising initiatives for Operation Smile. This included performing dance routines and delivering roses during Valentine's Day. She has also helped to plan the Week Without project. She trained at Indian dancing to improve her fitness and allow her to perform with her cousins during last summer's holiday. She studied yoga to improve her flexibility and concentration, and of course immersed herself in the fundraising and house building with Habitat for Humanity. Radhika is another student that has impressed teachers with her good manners and willingness to learn. Radhika writes, I have had many favourite and exciting moments in these 2 years. The Spain trip was my favourite and most memorable time spent in the 2 years of my IB. Even though IB was hard, it also gave me experiences that I don't think I could get from anywhere else. Miss Agnes says of Radhika was well prepared for a long flight to Spain, and to waste no time with changing into something comfortable on the plane, she was already wearing her pyjamas before checking in. Throughout the whole trip, she was very interesting and mature, very talkative and always laughing. Even when she fell ill with a fever, she would not miss any activity. She gritted her teeth, and even when her face was green, she never complained. She was my little heroine. After graduation, Radhika is going to Samui for the after-graduation trip with her classmates, and then will be applying to universities once her IB grades come out. I've enjoyed acting as a tutor of this group of students, and I've enjoyed the times we have shared together. I'm sad to see them depart, and even sadder to think of some of the opportunities I missed to spend more time with them, such as the last residential in Year 12, or performances they were taking part in. I do regret missing those chances to see them excel. But I'm also very happy to see them move on to the next stage in their lives. And I hope that their time at St Andrews has given them the skills to succeed, whatever they choose to do.